Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices, and starting with the German mid-cap here because it had the cleanest count coming to the downside from wave B here. So from wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C wave down through here. So we're looking for 5 waves down through here. Last time we spoke, we were looking at wave 4 retracing, and now we're looking at wave 5 here. So because the extensions in wave 3, wave 1 and wave 5 should be roughly the same length. So we should see this market around the 23,000 here, perhaps a little bit lower. We need to count 5 waves from that wave 4 there, and we can see that we've got wave 1 and 2 in here. So we've got, if I can just draw this out, wave 1 and 2 in here, and wave 3 normally comes down to the previous low where it finds support, wave 4 and wave 5. So it will be something like this here. So I still think there's a little bit more to go in this structure here. Look, it could extend, but we just need to start counting the 5 waves within this structure. So this has been really helpful for the DAX, in sort of understanding that a bit. I mean, of course, this wave 4 here, we've got it as an A and a B and a C here. It may get more complicated. It may end up with, if I can just borrow this here, copy that, we could end up still with a bit of a triangle pattern happening here with D and E here, because in the CAC, in the France market, it's a bit like that. So we could end up with a situation like this here. I'm not quite sure about that just yet for this. I really need to see this finished first before I can call that in here, but put it there anyway. It's a bit of a thing, but let's just sort of see how we go with that. Because if I go across to the French market here, we could look at this being wave 3 top here as well, but it just sort of counts better like this. I mean, it's possible to count this market here as wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C and a D and an E wave here for wave 4, and having wave 5 completed here. But that wouldn't be in line with the DAX as such. So I've been counting this as quite a complex wave 4 way over here. So wave 3 here, and ABC for an A wave here, ABC for a B wave here, ABC for a C wave here, ABC for a D, and ABC for a 4. So that's still viable because the US has still got to move down further as well. So counting 5 waves down through here, it appears that we're either finished or we're close to it at this stage. We won't go short just yet for that. We need to make sure that there's 5 waves in that little structure there. I haven't started to look at this on an intraday basis, but I will swap this now for the Netherlands count, the AEX. And we'll look at the AEX now and again, of course, but yeah, I just want to bring in some of the other European markets and have a look at those. So look, this is quite a complex wave 4 here. So let's see how we go with that. So the DAX could have this too, I mean, with the DAX, we've got this over here as wave 4 here. And let's just bring that up. So the DAX here, we've got wave 3 over here, and we've got an A wave here. It's quite a tricky count, but an A and a B and a C and a D and an E here for the B wave here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for this wave 4 here. But it's also possible that this can also get more complicated and have in 3 waves here pulling back up to D, and then to have E here as well. I just don't know yet, but it's certainly possible looking at the CAC, and also too when you think about when you have a look at the US indices, how they've got to travel further down, then this here would make it a little bit more likely in that case. But in this case here, we're looking at well, wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5 here. So if we can just focus on that for a moment. Coming down in here, we're looking at ABC for wave 4 here, and then this move down through here. So at first glance here, it looks like we've got 1 and 2. I mean, all this could be counted as 1 and 2 and 3 here, coming back for 4 and having one more move down here. There's no way I'm going to go long, and this is the medium level here, 11,500. We're not going to go long unless we've got that as support. Going long under this is just not the go. This could just retest this here and then fade from that point. So that would be a short trade under this current low here. Okay, so we'll just be clear on that. We'll dive into this in a moment, but I can count 5 waves down here to finish here. But if that's going to be the case, then we need to see this market get on top of 11,500. So just moving into the 1 hour chart here. This is how it can count down from wave 4 here as wave 1 and ABC for 2, 3, ABC for 4 here, and then down for wave 5 here. So we took part profit here. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to keep the stop above this market, or you may have taken it. You always expect to bounce at number 3. It's the top of group 1, so 1, 2 and 3 is always group 1, so we always get a bounce. Most of the time it comes back to 4 and then fails. Sometimes maybe 20% of the time it can come back to 5, but in this case here it's kind of likely to come back to 5 because it's retesting the supply levels here. So the question is do we have 5 waves in this little sequence here? So to have this completed here, let me just check on the CAC. On the tick chart here, we can count 5 waves down in terms of 1 and 2 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the fifth wave. So we can have a low in here. There is a little extra wave in here that bothers me. So this one here is 1 and 2. If I took this as 1 and 2 here, then it can fall from this point. If I take that there and look for 38.2% retracement level, we are a little bit higher than that. That's there. This is the 61.8% at this point at the 11,500. So look, yeah, I wouldn't go long unless we had this number here above the 61.8, but that's even besides the point for me, but the 11,500. So let's just see what plays out in this space here. The other thing here that if the market, I mean, to be really, we should still be on the short side, basically. So the problem here is that from that high to this low, from this low to this high here, the 11,300 here is the 61.8%. So really we can't go short unless we're sort of below that here. So if a low is taken out, then by all means we need to be going short at that stage. So the low won't come in here for a while. So let's just allow this to play out here for this market. The FTSE, this is the same thing as well. We'd been looking for wave 4 across here. It's just got a little bit more complicated. So it's a little bit hard to track that, but the main point here is that it appears from this high here down to this low here, we've got 5 waves. Now, that means that, from this point here, we can go up from here, or we can go up 61.8% and then come down into 3, 4, and 5 and come down lower in here. So we just need to sort of give this a little bit of consideration. So on the hourly chart here, as you may be able to notice from here, we've got 1 and 2 here, and then we've got 3, 4, and 5 here. So we can have the low in here, and we can move straight up from this point, or we're just going to move up into this space, the 50-60% retracement level, and move back down here again. So we're just going to have to be a little bit mindful. So I also want this to play out for another session, which will give us for Friday video to pick this up here. But on the US markets and so on, it does appear that this move up here is impulsive. So it does appear that we can move up and pull back and then move up again from that point there. So yeah, keep an eye on the US markets because they will drive this to this point. But yeah, look, this got a little bit complicated here, and just for the sake of counting it, the best fit that I can see is a triangle pattern is wave A and B here, and C and D, and then wave E here, unfortunately, because we were looking to take this top out here. But there we go, we got caught out at that particular point, so apologies about that. But let's just allow this to give us enough detail to base a next direction off that. But there can certainly be a low in here, but there's also the possibility that it can just move up to the 61.8% and move down, and we would need to look at this as wave 1 at that point. So I can just copy that here and put that there as wave 1, and obviously this would be wave 2 moving back to that particular point. And for Italy here, the MIB, we're looking at wave 3 over here, and an A wave and a B wave and a C wave. This would be lining it up with the DAX and some of the other European markets, and having wave 4 here. This also may get more complicated here as well. Same with the what I pointed out with the DAX and the CAC, where we have a wave D and an E here as well. This obviously looks really bearish here. My original count, which I'm still keeping, is 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here. And then an extension in the 5th wave here, which would be wave 1 and 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4. That does overlap this structure here, I understand that. And then we're just counting 5 waves down here, which I think is complete now. So of course we're not going to turn bullish unless we have 20,000 as the support, right? But also too, I don't particularly want to go short. We're looking, currently we're looking at a bit of a rally in the US with a little impulse wave to the upside. So that could give support to the European markets, which we are seeing in some of them, and that can lift to the upside. But how far is the question? So on the 4-hour chart here, we had, counting down here, we've had this as wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and wave 3 here and 4 here, and either wave 5 to here or to here, but obviously it's here now, so we can remove that text here. And we also got a large sort of spike in this move here as well, because I was expecting wave 4 to go to here and then wave 5 down. So on the hourly chart that will become clearer. So yeah, this is the way that even from this wave 4 here, I mean, we had wave 4 in this space here, so we like the UK market, we could go long above that, but we got this spike here and then down, which I have to call wave 4, even though it's also overlapping this structure here as well. And then we can count down here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we've got that low in place here, but because we're under the 20,000, the closest largest number, we really need to be on the short side. So we've got a rock and a hard place. We know that we've probably got a low in place here, but we can't confirm it because we don't have 5 waves up here. And if this market moves down, we need to be short below this low here. Okay, so that will keep us safe on the short side. On the long side, if this is going to move up here, then we'll look at this as wave 1 and 2 here. So if I can just draw that over here as wave 1 and 2 here, we would need to see wave 3 here, and then we'd need to see wave 4, and then we would need to see wave 5. Once we've got that in here, then we can look for the ABC correction, and then we can look to go long through this space here, because if we get 5 here, then we'll get 5 over here. At least we'll get that far up, but we still don't know if we're if we're going to get past that point there as well. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. We need to get those 5 waves in here first before looking to go long in this market. And even at this point, it's high risk. So that's something that you need to take on and think about yourself in that particular point there. So yeah, let's just see how the US markets push up, how they reflect back into the European markets, and obviously how it reflects back into this market here. But all I can say at this point, if that low is taken out, then we need to be short from that point, okay? So just stay with that. Otherwise, we wait to see if we get 5 waves. And you can check out the resistance too. I won't take it from this high here. I'll take it from this one here and put that in here. So it still comes in at that 50-60% area here. So this is going to be the main resistance to the upside here. So 19,500 is going to be the resistance to the upside here, even after we've got the A, the B and the C here. So it certainly can fail from there. We can expect it to stall there at least. But if we get this 500 after the market sort of considering in this space here correcting, then we can look to move in on that support here, and then also look to build in higher up. But at this stage here, that will be the resistance. We can also look at the resistance from this wave 4 here as well, bringing this down into this space here, which brings us up into this space. So we'll have support on at this stage on the 20, if that's going to be the case. So yeah, at this stage we're possibly looking at lows being in place, but we have no evidence whatsoever of that being the case. But seeing the first little 5 waves up here will be the first piece of evidence, second piece of evidence, because the first piece is actually being able to count this down to be completed at this point. But if wrong, we'll be short here. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.